What happens when the world you are born into becomes your prison? Picture a childhood nestled within the confines of Melbourne's most exclusive ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. This was the world of Dassi Elrich, a world of about 250 families living in and around St Kilda East and Ripon Lea. Their lives revolved around their own schools, shops, cemetery, and medical services. They were an island in the middle of a sea of the unfamiliar, a community where interaction with the outside world was rare. But Dassi's upbringing was about more than just religious isolation. It was a labyrinth of rules dictating not just what to do, but how to do it. She described it as more than just rules. It was the mechanism of the rules that mattered. From waking up to washing hands, every minute detail of life was regulated. Imagine a world where you spend hours learning how to get out of bed, which foot to put down first, how to wash your hands, and in what order. This was Dassi's world, a world where she was more a robot than a child. Then there was her home, a place that should have been a sanctuary, but instead it was a battleground. Her mother, erratic and abusive, dealt punishments that were both cruel and unusual. A doll's face stabbed out because it was an affront to God, being forced to urinate in a bedroom cupboard because she wasn't allowed to go downstairs to the bathroom after being sent to bed, physical abuse over a poorly vacuumed room, or crinkled bed sheets. Food withdrawal was a common punishment, and Dassi was regularly refused dinner. This was the grim reality of her childhood home. Yet, amidst this fear and isolation, Dassi found an escape, a safe haven in her school, a place where she could breathe, albeit briefly. Little did she know, this sanctuary was not what it seemed. It was a place that would later reveal itself as anything but safe. In the midst of fear and isolation, Dassi found a safe haven in her school, a place she would later realize was anything but safe. In a world where home was a battlefield, school became a sanctuary. But was it really? In the heart of Melbourne's southeast, in a close-knit and very isolated ultra-Orthodox Jewish community, Dassi found what seemed to be a sanctuary within the walls of the Adas Israel School. However, lurking behind the facade of security was a predator, cloaked in the guise of a trusted authority figure. This person was none other than Malka Leifer, the school's principal and Dassi's teacher. The sense of safety and trust that should be associated with these roles was shattered as Leifer betrayed her duties to protect and educate. Instead, she took advantage of Dassi's vulnerability, manipulating her and subjecting her to ongoing sexual abuse. This was not an isolated case of cruelty. Dassi's sister Ellie too fell victim to Leifer's malevolent actions. In a community that prided itself on self-sufficiency and isolation, maintaining silence was often prioritized over seeking justice. A culture of silence prevailed, allowing the abuse to continue unchecked. This silence wasn't just a byproduct of the community's nature, it was meticulously maintained by Leifer, who exploited her position of power to ensure her egregious actions remained in the dark. But what happens when the mask of safety slips? What transpires when a sanctuary turns into a site of trauma? For Dassi, it meant living through a nightmare while the world around her remained oblivious. It meant enduring unimaginable pain and suffering while the one inflicting it paraded around as an upholder of education and morality. However, amidst this betrayal and manipulation, a spark of courage flickered within Dassi. She decided to break the silence, to speak out against the atrocities she had endured. This decision, fueled by resilience and bravery, was the first step towards a long and arduous journey. A journey that would bring her face to face with her abuser in a court of law, fighting for justice and for the right to reclaim her life. In the face of this, Dassi found the courage to break the silence, a decision that would change the course of her life. Justice is a long road, filled with obstacles, but for Dassi, it was a road she was determined to travel. This road was not an easy one, but it was one she had to walk, not just for herself, but for her sisters and for every survivor who had ever felt isolated, unheard, and silenced. Dassi's fight for justice saw her pitted against a formidable enemy, her former high school principal, Malka Leifer. Lifa had been a figure of authority in the Adas Israel school they attended, a close-knit and isolated ultra-Orthodox Jewish community in Melbourne's southeast. But behind closed doors, she was a predator, convicted of 18 charges of sexual abuse, including rape and indecent assault against Dassi and her sister Ellie. The battle against Lifa was not just confined to the Australian courts, it extended beyond the country's borders, into Israel. Lifa had fled there in 2008, soon after the allegations came to light. It was a strategic move, one that saw Dassi and her sisters fighting to get Lifa extradited back to Australia. Their struggle was a test of endurance. It took 70 extradition hearings and 13 long years to bring Lifa back to Australia. The fight for justice was not a silent one. It echoed around the world, drawing attention from every corner. The plight of the sisters became a global cause, a symbol of the fight against sexual abuse. Their story shone a spotlight on the systemic issues within their community and the wider societal issues that allow such abuse to occur. In August 2023, after a 15-year-long struggle, Dassi finally saw her abuser sentenced to 15 years in prison. It was a moment of sweet victory, but it was more than just personal vindication. It was a message to every survivor out there, a testament to the power of resilience and a beacon of hope for those still fighting their battles. Victory, when it came, was not just for Dassi, but for every survivor who has ever felt silenced. It was a declaration that no matter how long the road to justice might be, no matter how heavy the burden, the fight is always worth it. Because every voice matters, every story matters, and every survivor matters. When the trial ends, what happens to the survivor? After the long, grueling journey to justice, the courtroom doors may close, but the story doesn't end there. For Dassi Elrich, it was just a new chapter beginning. With the sentencing of her abuser, she finally found the freedom to fully share her story, to delve deeper into her past than the trial had allowed. In the aftermath, Dassi did something extraordinary. She penned her experiences into a memoir titled In Bad Faith. This was no easy task. It meant revisiting every dark corner, every painful memory. But it was also a path to healing, a catharsis. Through her words, she wrestled with her past, made sense of her experiences, and found a way to move forward. Her memoir wasn't just for her, though. It was for every survivor out there, every voice silenced by oppression and abuse. Dassi's story resonated far beyond the confines of her community, touching the hearts of many. Her courage, her tenacity, her resilience all served as a beacon of hope for those still trapped in their own battles. Yet, Dassi's journey didn't stop at the pages of her memoir. She transformed her pain into a mission, an ongoing fight for justice. She became an advocate, a voice for the voiceless, standing up against abuse, not just within her former community, but everywhere. She took her experiences and used them to fuel a relentless pursuit of change, to ensure that no one else would have to endure what she had. Her story is a testament to the power of survival, of resilience, of the human spirit's ability to rise above even the darkest of circumstances. It's about more than just surviving. It's about thriving, about finding the strength to turn the page and start a new chapter. And so, Dassi's journey continues. Every day, she's writing a new page in her story, a story that began in darkness, but is now filled with light. Through her words, her actions, her relentless pursuit of justice, she's creating a legacy that will echo long after her story has been told. In the face of adversity, Dassi chose not just to survive, but to thrive. In every story of struggle, there is a spark of resilience. This is Dassi's spark. Imagine a life lived under the heavy weight of rules and regulations, where the simplest of actions are dictated by a rigid system. Now imagine that same life, punctuated by unimaginable abuse. This was Dassi Elrich's reality, her world. But Dassi was not one to be kept down. Her spirit refused to be extinguished. She was a flame in the dark, a beacon of resilience. Her journey from a troubled childhood to a triumphant court victory is a testament to her strength and endurance. Despite the years of torment, she never lost sight of her goal: justice. This pursuit took her across continents, through a maze of legal proceedings, and into the glare of the global spotlight. But through it all, Dassi remained steadfast, her courage never wavering. Dassi's resilience wasn't just about standing up to her abuser in court. It was about challenging the very system that had allowed the abuse to occur in the first place. It was about breaking the silence, tearing down the walls of an isolated community, and exposing the truth. But perhaps most importantly, it was about reclaiming her life, her freedom, her identity. Through her memoir, In Bad Faith, Dassi has shared her story in full, shedding light on the hidden corners of her past. Her words are a testament to her incredible fortitude and a beacon of hope for other survivors. Dassi's story is also one of transformation. From a life confined by rules and fear, she has emerged as a powerful advocate for justice and change. Her journey serves as a reminder that no matter the obstacles, no matter the pain, it is possible to rise, to fight, and to overcome. She is a living testament to the power of resilience, of the human spirit's ability to heal and to grow. In Dassi's story, we see the embodiment of courage, of determination, of resilience. It is a story that reminds us that even in the face of the most unimaginable adversities, there is always hope, always a chance for justice, always room for growth. Dassi's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder to us all that even in the darkest times, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel.